don't need to go from zero training right to 100%, 7 days a week, 1 hour every single day. Chances are you're going to become overwhelmed, you're going to quit the gym, and you're just going to revert back to your old habits. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to lose weight effortlessly, one habit at a time. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the section that you want. Now on to the topic at hand. A lot of people, when it comes to losing weight, find it very, very difficult. And one of the reasons why a lot of people struggle is because they tend to take on more than they can handle in the beginning. If you focus on one habit at a time instead of trying to change your entire life, the chances that you are going to succeed with your weight loss is going to increase exponentially. In fact, in his book, The Power of Less, Leo Babauta, he actually goes through this and gives examples from his own personal experience with his clients. He found that with his coaching clients, if he gave them more than one habit to follow, the failure rate was 100%. Whereas if he only gave them one habit to follow and they put all of their time and effort and energy into focusing in on that one habit, their success rate was anywhere from 50 to 80%. And this is not only true with Leo Babauta, this is also something that I've seen in my own clinical practice and something that has also been reiterated with Precision Nutrition. Precision Nutrition, for those of you who do not know, they are a company that helps with nutrition coaching and also helping people to lose weight. And what they found through their own practice and also what the research has shown is that if you focus on one habit and dedicate all of your time, effort, and energy on creating that one habit, the chances that you are going to succeed is going to be 80%. Whereas if you were to focus on two habits, your success rate is going to plummet all the way down to 35%. And if you focus on 3 or more habits, your success rate is going to be less than 5%. This is also something that I have experienced in my own practice. Not so much lately, because lately most of the clients that I work with are more with regard to high performance athletes and people coming to me to help with medical conditions. But earlier on, I've been doing this for over 16 years. I found that when I first got started, I would tend to do what all the other trainers were doing, and that was trying to change all of my clients' bad habits all at once. And whenever I did that, they were never able to adhere to my program. They might have been able to do it for 1 week, maybe a month, but eventually they would break down and they would just end up quitting. Whereas when I started focusing on one habit and giving people just one habit to follow, the success rate improved exponentially. The success rate was basically 100%. So by focusing on one habit at a time, the research has shown that it works. And aside from the research, there's also a lot of anecdotal evidence from all of the thousands of coaching hours that Precision Nutrition has done and the thousands of hours that I have in my own clinical practice. Now, when it comes to choosing one habit at a time, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that you choose an easy goal. You don't want to choose a habit that you know you're not going to be able to adhere to. If you choose a goal that is easy for you and you know that on a scale of 1 to 10, at least 9 out of 10, you are going to be able to accomplish that goal, the chances that you are going to adhere to that for the month is going to be much greater than if you choose a goal that is a little bit too much for you to handle right off the beginning. As an example, let's say your goal is to lose weight and you want to do that by going to the gym. Well, you may have the goal of, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, 1 hour every single day. But if you're not really that dedicated into that specific habit, it can be very difficult going from 0 minutes to 7 days a week, 1 hour every single day. So rather than trying to go all in on training every single day for hours, what you can do is chunk down your goal to make it a little bit more manageable. So instead of doing 1 hour 7 days a week, maybe you can do 45 minutes 7 days a week. If that's too much, maybe 30 minutes 7 days a week. If that's too much, maybe 3 days a week for 20 minutes. If you can accomplish 3 days a week of working out at 20 minutes every single day for the course of one entire month, then you can gradually increase the amount of time that you spend in the gym. By doing it this way, you're not going to overwhelm yourself in the beginning, and it's going to make it much more likely that you are going to adhere to the program over the course of the long run. And if your main objective is to lose weight and you want to keep it off, not just lose it temporarily, you want to be able to do this over the long run because adherence is going to be key when it comes to sustainable weight loss. So write out a list of all the different things that you're doing that are having a negative impact in your life. Prioritize them. What's going to make the biggest change in my life? So if I have a list of 10 different things, what's the number one change I can make in my life right now that's going to make the biggest impact on my health or on the way that I look? Once you have a list of the 10 and you've prioritized them, go through the list in order from 1 all the way down and ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, am I 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 confident that I can accomplish this one habit for the duration of the entire month? If you are not 90% to 100% confident that you can accomplish that one habit, then move on to the next habit and keep doing that until you find a habit that you are confident with at least a 9 out of 10 that you will be able to accomplish that one habit. Now, another thing when it comes to picking a habit is you want to make sure that your goal is going to be quantifiable. What that means is you should be able to measure it in some way. So let's say again that it is your goal to work out at the gym. If you make it your goal to work out, a few things that you could do to make it a quantifiable goal is add a time limit to it. So we already used the example of 60 minutes. If you're going to make it a goal to work out, set a time limit. Whether it's, I'm going to work out for 20 minutes 3 times a week, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes every single day, I'm going to work out for an hour twice a week. Set a time limit and stick to that time limit. That way, if you make it quantifiable, you will know exactly if you are or if you are not accomplishing your goal. Another thing with regard to making it quantifiable, this does not only refer to time, this can also be with regard to the amount that you are actually looking at. So again, using the gym as an example, if you don't have a quantifiable goal in terms of time, then you can set a load goal. So the amount of weight that you are lifting in your workout, set a specific goal. You could set either an intensity that you plan to follow, number of repetitions, number of sets, and choose a specific weight. If it is your goal to get stronger, then you want to make sure that the weights are going up on a continual basis. If they are going up, then you know you're getting stronger. And that is going to be one way to make a goal much more effective, by making it quantifiable. If it isn't really your goal to lose weight, let's say it is your goal to eliminate some stress in your life. Well, if you want to eliminate some stress in your life, then adding a meditation practice would be an excellent goal. And when it comes to meditation practice, if you've never meditated before, going from never meditating to a 1-hour seated meditation can be very overwhelming. So build slow. Add a quantifiable goal, add a 5-minute limit, start with 5 minutes. Once you feel like 5 minutes you can do that comfortably and it's not a struggle, try 10 minutes. Once you can do that, try 15, and keep bumping it up until you're able to get to that 60-minute time limit. I'm going to use myself as an example. A few years ago, this would have been probably 6 or 7 years ago, is when I started taking up meditation. And when I first started taking up meditation, I fell into the trap of thinking that I had to meditate for an hour every single day first thing in the morning, and it just was not very enjoyable for me. So by chunking it down, what I did was, for the first week, I did 5 minutes a day. Once I was able to do that consistently for the first week, then I upped it to 10 minutes. I kept doing that until after about 6 weeks, I got up to 1 hour. And once I got up to 1 hour, it became effortlessly. I didn't really have to think about my meditation practice. So if you are trying to do any specific goal, whatever you think you can manage, chunk it down a little bit first and do that. And then if you are able to do that and you can manage it, then you can start to build upon that foundation. Another thing with regard to setting habits is you want to be consistent. Consistency is going to be key if it is your objective to accomplish a goal over the long period of time. If it's your goal just to lose some weight for a photo shoot that's coming up next week, or you want to get stronger for a competition that's in a month, then that's not really going to help you in the long run. But if you do want to lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life, then you need to be consistent, because if you're not consistent, you're going to fall back into old patterns, and if you fall back into old patterns, you're going to go back to where you were in the past. So you want to be consistent, and the thing with consistency is, ideally, if you can attach a habit to a specific habit that you're already doing, it's going to make it much easier. Let's use the example of water consumption. Let's say you're not consuming enough water and you make it your goal to consume X amount of water per day. Well, if you can tie that goal to another habit that you already follow, it's going to make it much easier for you to accomplish. Let's say every time you go to brush your teeth, you have a bottle of water right next to your toothbrush. And before you brush your teeth, you end up chugging that bottle. Well, that's half a liter of water done throughout the day. So if you want to accomplish goals, making sure that you're consistent with practicing that goal and also tying it to an existing habit that you already have that you do on a regular basis is going to make it much easier for you to stick to that goal. Another thing with regard to consistency is if you can do something at the same time every single day, it's going to make it a lot easier. If you have a schedule where it's all over the place, this can be a little bit tricky, but let's say you are the type of person that you like to wake up early in the morning, then getting your workout in at the same time first thing in the morning might be beneficial for you, because you may find that as the day progresses, things get in the way, your life gets in the way, and you're not able to work out. So picking a specific time of day to accomplish that one specific habit can be beneficial for a lot of people. Another thing that you can do that will help you to accomplish your habits and make sure that these become permanent habits that you keep in your life is to brag about your success daily. Now, when I say brag about your success, you don't want to brag about it in an obnoxious way where you alienate your friends and family. badly. But if you do set a habit that you want to accomplish and you accomplish it, don't be afraid to congratulate yourself and tell your family and friends about it. If you don't want to tell your family and friends about it, you can even post about it on social media. Put it out there in the world and put it out there regularly, because when you put something out there, it's going to make you more likely to succeed, because as people see that you are posting about it, it's going to make you want to keep doing that, because first of all, you're going to enjoy the positive feedback. When you get positive feedback, it's going to motivate you to keep doing those things. The other thing is, if you put it out there to the world, you're going to be much more likely to accomplish that habit, because it is out there. You don't want to say that you're going to do something and then not be able to do it, because then people will be able to throw it back in your face. So by bragging about your success and saying all the things that you're doing that are working for you, it's going to make it much more likely to stick. Another thing is, while yes, you do want to brag about it when you are successful, you also don't want to be discouraged by failures. We are all human. We all have failures in our lives. If you do happen to fail, don't be afraid of failure. A lot of people, what happens is they end up setting these habits, they fail at it, and then they're not confident in themselves anymore, so they decide just to give up altogether rather than just taking it one day at a time and starting fresh from scratch. If you do find that whatever your goal is, let's say it's your goal to work out every single day and you miss one day at the gym. Well, if you miss one day of working out, that one day does not have to mean that you have to quit the gym and never work out for the rest of your life. You can miss one day and then just continue on with your program the following day. Just because you miss one day at the gym, it doesn't mean you have to quit. This is the same thing when it comes to nutrition. A lot of people, they tend to follow a very specific diet, and then they'll eat something bad first thing in the morning, and because they ate something bad, they think, oh, well, you know what, the day is ruined, so I'm just going to pig out and eat whatever I want for the rest of the day. And you don't have to do that. Just because you had one meal that wasn't part of your nutrition plan first thing in the morning, it doesn't mean that you have to throw out the rest of the day. You can still stick to your plan throughout the rest of the day. So don't be afraid of failure. If you do fail, you can always go back to your plan and make sure that you succeed at the rest of the day. Remember, this is about sustainable results. You may fail every now and then, but as long as you are consistent and you stick to this plan throughout the duration of the rest of your life, then you are going to succeed in the long run. You can think of it as battle versus the war. If you have these little failures, that's just one small battle, but the war is going to be your entire life. So if you can make sure that you are successful throughout the rest of your life, these little failures here and there, you don't need to be discouraged by them, because you can overcome them if it is your goal to accomplish any specific goal. And one other thing that I would like to note with regard to habits is, it's much easier to add in habits to your daily routine than to remove habits. What I mean by that is, if there are things that you are not currently doing that you know will benefit your health, adding those things in will be much easier than removing things that you enjoy from your life, because by adding things in, naturally things are going to have to be removed. Let's use the example of nutrition. Instead of thinking of removing all of the bad foods that are in your diet right now, think of certain things that you could add into your diet that are going to give you more energy and help you with all of your goals. Once you add those foods in, your stomach is going to be more full from those foods. So you don't have to remove all of the bad items. Just start adding in more good, and as you add in more good food items, the bad items that you have in your diet are naturally going to be a little bit lower. So you don't need to remove all the bad things. If it is your goal to lose weight, the first thing you might do is just add water. And once you add water, don't even worry about all the bad food. You can still eat your McDonald's, you can still eat your KFC, eat all the stuff that you really enjoy. For the first month, all you want to do is focus on that one habit of water. And then as you get more diligent and you get more comfortable with that goal and you're able to handle a little bit more, then you can start adding in more and eventually start removing some of the bad stuff. But if you try to remove all of the bad stuff from your diet all at once, the chances are you're going to rebound from that. You're going to end up craving all those foods, and then you're going to reintroduce them all and then just say screw it with the diet, and then there's going to go all the progress that you made. Whereas if you just start by adding things in and not worrying about removing things, it's going to make it much more manageable for you. Now, with regard to habits, I'm going to list off 5 habits that you can incorporate today that will make a good impact in your life. This is specifically going to be beneficial for people that are trying to either improve their energy, their mood, if they want to just lose weight, but these are just good rules for anyone to apply. The first one is going to be increasing your water consumption. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, then you know ideally you should be consuming half your body weight in ounces of water every single day. That is your body weight in pounds. So if you are a 200-pound individual, that is going to equate to 100 ounces of water, which is roughly 3 liters. If you are not the type of person that drinks a lot of water, adding in 3 liters right off the bat may be a bit overwhelming to you. So rather than adding in 3 liters of water right off the bat, start by maybe adding in 1 cup of water to your day. Once you're able to do that consistently and it's not a struggle, try adding in a bottle, so 500 milliliters. Then keep adding 250 milliliters at a time until you get to your target water consumption. By doing it this way, it's going to make it much more manageable for you, and you're not going to fall off the bandwagon and just quit everything altogether because you weren't able to accomplish your goal of 3 liters right off the bat. So by chunking your goal down and gradually building up to your ideal, that is going to be much more sustainable and much more manageable for most people. Another habit that would be really beneficial to add in would be preparing a healthy breakfast. By preparing a healthy breakfast, you automatically start your day off with good energy, and you're also going to make better food choices throughout the day. I had mentioned this in a couple videos, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time. There was this BBC documentary about 15, maybe 20 years ago, and it went through different types of groups that were trying to lose weight. They had given one group of people a healthy breakfast, and then a second group of people, they ended up skipping breakfast. What they found was the group of people that ate the healthy breakfast, when they did a functional MRI screen of their brain, they found that by showing them really calorie-dense foods like cheeseburgers, popsicles, cake, cookies, all of these really high calorie-dense foods, their brain did not react whatsoever. Now, on the flip side, the group that ended up skipping out on the healthy breakfast, what happens was when they were shown things like broccoli, kale, all these really low calorie dense foods, the brain did not light up whatsoever. Whereas when they showed them these really high calorie dense foods like cookies, ice cream, cake, all those types of things, that part of the brain that causes people to crave certain foods, it ended up lighting up. And what they found was by skipping breakfast, your levels of ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, is going to be elevated. And ghrelin, aside from making you more hungry and craving high calorie dense foods, another thing is ghrelin has been linked to poor decision making. So for the people that ate a healthy breakfast, they tended to make more healthy food choices throughout the rest of the day. Whereas the people who skipped breakfast, they craved more high calorie dense foods, and then once they consumed those high calorie dense foods, they continued to make poor food choices throughout the rest of the day. It wasn't just that one meal, it was the rest of the day that they were making these poor choices. So by eating a healthy breakfast and preparing it yourself, you're much more likely to make good food choices throughout the rest of the day if you already set that precedent first thing in the morning. Another habit that you can make is if you have issues with your sleep. Let's say you're not very energetic first thing in the morning. Well, having your head on the pillow by a specific time will be beneficial for you. This is something that I struggled with for decades. I am a night owl. I used to always go to bed at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So this one was something that took me about 15, 16 years to address. One of the things with regard to sleep, ideally, if you could have your head on the pillow by 10 p.m., that's going to be ideal. For some people, if you're a shift worker or if you are required to work really, really late, this may not be the most realistic, but even if you can improve upon your sleep just a little bit, let's say you're going to bed at 4 in the morning and you end up changing your bedtime to 3 in the morning, well, that's 1 hour closer to your goal of getting your head on the pillow by 10 p.m. Again, you don't need to go straight from going to bed at 3 in the morning to going to bed at 10 p.m. because that's going to be very difficult. That's what I tried to do. I tried to go from 3 a.m. to 10 p.m. and I would always end up quitting. Whereas when I started to gradually bring my time down, now I'm able to get to bed at a proper time and I wake up feeling refreshed. And I did that by not overwhelming myself, by not trying to be too strict right off the bat. Another thing that you could do, let's say that you are trying to lose weight and you're not currently working out. Well, picking the habit of working out daily would be very, very beneficial. With regard to working out daily, you want to start slow, build a solid foundation, and then build upon that foundation. So if it is your goal to lose weight and you're not currently exercising, maybe you start with 3 days a week of 20 minutes. Once that is manageable, maybe you can go to 3 days of 30 minutes, then maybe 4 days of 30 minutes, and then eventually get to a point where you are training 5 to 7 days a week for 1 hour every single day. But you don't need to go from zero training right to 100%, 7 days a week, 1 hour every single day. Chances are you're going to become overwhelmed, you're going to quit the gym, and you're just going to revert back to your old habits, which is what you don't want to do if you want to lose weight and keep it off over the long run. The fifth habit that I'm going to give you right now, this is something for people who are very, very stressed, and this one is a daily meditation practice. A lot of people, they have a lot of chronic stress in their lives, and people tend to think that stress is only mental, but we have more than just mental stress. We have physical stressors, chemical stressors, electromagnetic stressors, nutritional stressors, and all of these stressors in terms of how our body reacts to them physiologically is going to be the exact same. From a physiological standpoint, your body is incapable from differentiating between these different stressors. So whether you're stressed because you got out of a bad relationship, whether you're stressed because you have a ton of bills that are due, or whether you're stressed because you did a 5-hour workout that your body was not capable of handling, all of those stressors are going to react the same way, and that is your body is going to secrete the hormone cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When cortisol is elevated, it also elevates your levels of insulin. Insulin is your main fat storage hormone. So if you're constantly stressed, that stress is going to cause insulin to become elevated, which is going to cause you to store more fat. The other thing is when cortisol is elevated, testosterone is also going to be reduced. So if your testosterone is lower, not only is it going to be easier to put on fat, it's also going to make it more difficult to build muscle. And muscle, if you recall, does burn more calories than fat. Not as much as you were led to believe. A lot of people think it's around 50 calories for 1 pound of muscle. It's actually 6, so 10 times less than what you were told, but it still burns 3 times more calories than 1 pound of fat, because 1 pound of fat only burns 2 calories at rest throughout the day, and 1 pound of muscle burns 6. So the more muscle you can put onto your body, the higher your BMR is going to be, which is going to be your basal metabolic rate, which is how many calories you burn throughout the day, and also the higher your total daily energy expenditure is going to be, because if you have more muscle and you're working out and you're moving around a lot more, then naturally you are going to burn more calories throughout the day. So if you are really stressed out, then start taking up a meditation practice. And again, don't just go from 0 meditation to 1 hour of meditating every day. Chunk it down. Start with 5 minutes. Once you have done that for a week, maybe even a month, if you're someone who's brand new to this and you can't really sit down for too long, then up it to 10 minutes, then up it to 15, and keep adding 5 minutes at a time. You don't need to go all in. You don't need to be 100% right off the bat. You don't need to be afraid to fail every once in a while. As long as you are consistent, you pick one habit, you pick a habit that you know you can stick to, and you gradually build up to where you want to be, the chances that you are going to succeed will increase exponentially. That is pretty much it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I would make more of these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.